What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Shamshir Sound video. Hope you guys are doing amazing today. Just got back from a run and I'm so excited to start the new series Electro House from scratch. We did a bunch of big room projects, but this time it's time to go back in memory lane and bring out those gritty bass lines, the hard-hitting kicks, and make something that's reminiscent of bass house, hard electro, electro house, all those styles, some old school elements, some new school elements. So if you guys are excited, remember to smash up the like button. We're gonna get started. We're gonna be using a lot of massive and we're just gonna go with the flow. First, we're gonna focus on the drop and then we're gonna build around it. So let's get started. I'm gonna set the BPM to 128. Usually Electro House is in that range, 128 to 130. Let's take a look. Let's start looking for some kicks. And for the kick, I want something that's punchy, but not too boomy, not too long. Then again, if you guys watch the previous videos, you guys can trim your kick and get it to your liking. Even if it's like a big room kick, you could turn it into sort of an Electro House kick. So let's go to Spin & Sounds Big Room Sample Pack. Let's go ahead and look for some kick drums here. Tonal kicks, punchy kicks. If you guys notice, there's nothing on the master. I'm not really gonna put anything on the master at this moment. These are kind of a little too plasticky. I don't know what kind of word to use. Kind of want to get something a little bit deeper. Might be able to work with this. So we'll put that on number 1, and what we'll do is just kind of trim it down a little bit. You know what? Sometimes it's good to use the playlist. So depending on your material, sometimes playlist, sometimes, you know, pattern window. In this case, I want to get a little bit more granular with this kick, and I want to shape it. I want to sculpt it. So that's why I have it here. So let's just loop this. Obviously it's big room, but I want to make this like punchy. I want to make it more of like just a punch. I do like the punch of it, but it's a little bit too tonal, so I might need another kick to supplement. This might work. Put that above it. And let's see, might be able to use these two. I'm gonna trim this one also. Okay, let's get in some snares. Now, not Pride snares, but we want kind of those classic hats and like an electro snare or some of those snares that don't land completely quantized. I do like this. It's kind of grungy hat. So let's make like a basic percussion and then we'll decide what sort of styles we'll do for our bass line. Again, same thing. The power of silence is everything when it comes to percussion. So I'm going to shape this however we like. Maybe not too drastic, but I want it to smoothly roll out. Alternatively, instead of the volume in the channel, you can also select them all and bring them down this way. So I am going to reach for a snare drum that I've used often, especially in the Electro Science track, number 2. It was a pretty good loop. believe it's in my private pack. Nonetheless, I'm gonna let you guys download this, so make sure you guys smash up the like for that. I'm gonna make sure I share this with you guys, so even specific kind of VIP loops and things like that will be available to you guys. So let's go ahead, and I think it's right here, Electro Science. So this is what I mean. You see how there's like that roll in? So not often, you don't always want to have a snare drum just smack right on there, right? You want a little bit of that pre-snare. So I'm actually pretty happy with this. I know we originally had this, maybe we can repurpose this, but if anything, I'll just keep the kick above it because it has that punch and we can shape it a little bit more. But maybe there is some redemption for this. I kind of like that. I don't know why. I kind of like that. It kind of reminds me of like a Julian Jordan. Let's keep it. You know what? Let's keep it there. Maybe we use it as like a bass. You see how we repurposed this kick into a bass. And let's go ahead and just copy this all. Kind of do just like 4 bars. And now that we have 4 bars going on, let's have a quick listen. Something about this is a little bit off-putting, could be shaped a little bit better, but let's start routing things. So let's go ahead and route the top kick. We'll put it to number 1. I tend to love this color purple. I don't know why, guys, you know, let me know what colors do you guys like, but I just like the darker colors. I'm not a big fan of these whack, like, you know, the pink and like neon action. I like the dark tones, you know what I'm saying? I'm a dark theme guy, you know? I'm always turn on the dark theme on whatever setting, app, browser. I'm always put on that dark mode. This, even though it was a kick, we're kind of repurposing this. So maybe we'll make duplicates of this, pitch them up, pitch them down. Who really knows? You know, this is the power of music, is that it's like the world's your oyster. You can do whatever you like. Of course, we have the hat also. We'll just call this open hat. And we have this a snare drum. Now I know that this is 128, so I'm gonna turn this off even though it won't make a difference. I'm OCD with that. If I see that it's trying to stretch something and I know it's the correct tempo, I just turn it off. So be mindful of that if you make adjustments and all of a sudden the mode changes. If you're wondering why your sound is mangled, double check time, double check that the mode hasn't been changed. So this is pretty good so far. Let's go ahead and just kind of mix this down real quick in mono. I do see the snare drum's pretty loud. Let's just bring it down a little bit. Don't want this peaking above 0 dB. Don't want it to out-crown the kick. Hat might be too loud too. Let's work into it. It's just way too dry. So let's put a reverb on there. What I'll do also is I'll slap on my good old parametric EQ2. I love this, and usually I do a steep 4. This is very naturally pleasing like sound, rather than doing high pass, because when you do shelf EQ, it's so versatile. And I'm gonna probably roll off around 300 Hertz. Make sure you listen. So this is doing two things. It's cleaning out the low end to make sure it doesn't conflict with the bass and the kick, but also in case the reverb has a little bit going on. Let's remove this from mono and have another listen. I think the reverb could be a little bit more quiet. If anything, 3%, maybe a little bit less. So you're wondering, well, 3% Ali, like 0.6 decay, like that isn't much, but little bits of reverb added here, added there, a little bit of garnish. start to add ambience and space rather than being too dry. So keep that in mind. I think the pros are often using very little bits of reverb here and there. Obviously, when it comes to a lead, that's going to be a different story, or a vocal, different case there. But different elements can get a little bit of ambiance and sit nicely in the mix when they have their reverb short and when they have their reverb amount low. And I love Fruity Reverb. This is classic. I love that they kept up with this because you get to keep your 100% dry signal. So very versatile. Love this one. Quick save just in case FL decides to take the shitter. And let's go ahead and take a look. Let's see. Let's go ahead and, wow, this is a nice bug. You guys see this? It's like showing the sample here. Interesting. Image line, man. Get your things together, image line. Kick and bass. Let's go ahead and listen to the bass. Didn't really intend on this, but, you know, it's all about experimentation. I'm going to throw in the good old Sausage. Shout out Sausage. I love it when he gets pissed. Look at that face. He's so cute. And let's slap on kickstart. This is a little too huge for my liking. Let's put 100%. And let's go ahead and, I didn't do this in the tutorial, but I'm going to right click on the bass, sidechain to the track. Don't see anything yet, but come to the settings, go to processing, sidechain, select kick, come back, and now we should see the kick at least visually show there. So don't see it there yet. What's going on? Processing, sidechain, let's turn it on. So this is good. I'm going to see a little bit of visual feedback. And let's shape this and make it louder because it's pretty quiet, this bass. So it's a pretty interesting experiment. Let's see what we can do. Let's make this unique, and let's just like pitch this one down. We'll go bum, 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 bum. Let's go up for this one. Dun, 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 dun. And so I'm liking this. Let's copy this and again keep it here. So now we got a loop. We will use this as our sub bass. Crank this up just to make it pump a little bit more. And let's add on one of my favorite low pass filters. Shout out Fruity Fast LP. If you guys don't see your plugin here, then go ahead and right click and search and type in fast, and I see it here, fast LP. If you don't see it in the search, make sure you guys add it in your plugin manager. So what I'm thinking is that I'm gonna automate this. It's a lovely low pass filter. Like this is something, guys, if you're feeling like you wanna get some cool results, do some wacky stuff, crazy stuff, you wanna get creative, reach for Fruity Fast LP. It is what I used in so many tracks for years. It's just, it works. It's a great plugin. So what I'm thinking is that I'm gonna keep it like this, but I'm gonna like shape this bass. Let's mute this. I'm gonna mute the hat and just focus on these elements. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna make the hat longer, but in order for the pitch to not go down, change it to auto or stretch pro. I'm gonna go with auto, see what it sounds like. Normal, and stretched. So I'm not really liking this hat. Kind of sounds like ass. I digress. Let's search for hat. I think Cashmere has a really nice hat that I'm going to use. Something about this, you know, it's hard to put into words, guys. Y'all know what I'm talking about, you know? Like, when you have a hat or you have any sound, it's just like talking about music doesn't work too well. Sometimes you just got to like hear it and feel it. So I think it's by Cashmere. One thing I want to note is that the new window is fabulous. If you guys go ahead and search in the browser window, so powerful. You can find samples quicker, easier. You don't have to search, wait, hit next, wait. It's just immediate, instant. Yeah, I'm feeling like a vibe like this. Yeah, I like that. Yes, this has more of that classic vibe. So I'm dragging that arrow up to make a sharper, more sustained ending for the hat. A quick and lazy way I'm gonna make this bass pump is I'm just gonna slap on Soundgoodizer. So, you know, good old Soundgoodizer, modeled off of Maximus, can get you quick results. Sometimes can ruin a sound, but often can do some lovely magic to a sound, and really is best to be used on your mix tracks. I know some people put it on their master, but always experiment because it can radically shift the image of the sound, like on the stereo, when I'm talking about width and whatnot. So now we're gonna just experiment with this bass, see what kind of patterns we can do with the low pass filter. And let's go ahead and put a limiter on this because we are going above 0 dB, which we don't want. It's okay, you're in 32-bit, so like there's so much headroom. You can listen to your track with this, but because this song is then gonna go in video editing software and all that good stuff, gonna slap on you know, one of my favorite limiters, which is FabFilter Pro L2. You know, shout out to them. I would recommend snagging this, guys. Try to keep everything that you're using as like bought software. Buy it when you can, you know, support these developers. And long years ago, you know, I was downloading all these different VSTs. Oh, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. But when you start buying software, you actually focus on what you truly need and what you really want, as opposed to just everything possible, because that actually adds to confusion and will hinder your workflow. Now, one thing I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to keep it transparent, 0. I'll leave the defaults. This will kind of just let it be clean and unaffected, just to clip at 0 dB. So let's go ahead. We have a pretty good setup right now. We kind of got some groundwork. There's so much that can happen for this drop, right? But we got some percussive groundwork. Let's go ahead and add massive. And you guys know I love massive. Let's work on some sort of like saw. So all the way to the right, this is saw. We'll throw it on send 6. Now I'm thinking to make this like a low, not like a sub, but like a mid to high frequency. And what I'm thinking is I'm gonna make this bass completely mono. So you can do that here by merging it 100%. And what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna make this at least 2. I'm gonna make it monophonic so that it's only one note at a time, but we're gonna spread the width. And I'm also gonna experiment with this, the unison, the detune. Cool, it's like fat, it's dirty. Okay, so that screen filter is adding a little bit of presence. It goes off when you start automating the cutoff and you crank up the resonance. That's when you can really get growls with the scream. I don't always use scream. Often I'm using low pass 4, but you know, we're just experimenting here. So we've seen what we can come up with. Noise, I'm gonna crank this up. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll slap on kickstart and we will just start designing a pattern. So let's go ahead and put this here, 4 bars long, and just call this like saw. And let's see what we can come up with. I'm not sure what key we're in, but we'll find out. I think we're in E. Interesting. I mean, it should be in D. Let's go ahead and just mute that and just play with this. And this is needing to come up in terms of its sustain. So we'll bring the attack down. We won't make the sustain 100, but like close to it. And bring the release a little bit down. I'm going to trigger 0 reset, just so that we're always playing with that new note, always reset. Okay, nice. So the Dsharp is working. What I'll do is I'll roll off this bass even more, so it's just like predominantly in those lower frequencies. I know Julian Jordan does this a lot, where he has like that kind of low end bass that he has like in those lower frequencies, and then he has something kind of mid, and then he has some other elements. So let's see if this works. Let's make this a steep 4. now I love the make unique because I'll keep our existing pattern and now we'll experiment with this one. And what I'm thinking is we'll experiment, but what we'll do is we'll also add a reverb, and we're going to EQ this saw, and we're also going to add a peak controller. So let's first add parametric EQ2. Now notice I own FabFilter the bundle, but I'm not always adding Pro Q3. Now Pro Q3 is great, but it's just like different tools for different reasons. Work with what works for you. And I always find that when I work with parametric EQ2, it's so easy, it's so colorful and a pleasure to use. Whereas when I want to get more surgical, maybe mastering or something like that, then I reach for the Pro Q3. So I feel like different tools for different uses, but whatever works for you. If you find that you want to do this with Pro Q3, then you can also. What I want to do is remove some of that low end. So let's go ahead and add the peak controller. Peak controller is going to allow us to have that breathing effect. And let's add Fruity Reverb. Now, this gets confusing sometimes. If you're not finding reverb, Fruity Reverb, remember it has 2 E's, okay? It's a clutch. Make sure you search Fruity Reverb with 2 E's. Now, first thing I'm going to do is link to controller, select peak from the peak controller, and the mapping needs to be inverted. Now we'll watch how these two work. Really dirty right now. We need to increase the low cut. We need to decrease the decay and play around with some more settings. Okay, so now we've added a little bit of grit, like reverb, but let's try with higher frequencies. Now we just need to go into full design mode, creative mode with this saw. Totally just radically mess with it, see what we get. Make unique for this, gonna try out some different patterns. You know, I might do a little bit of a sustain. You know, sometimes sustain works. So let's sustain Dsharp and let the notes from the saw tell the story. And then we might, you know, let that change. But for now, it's always best to, when you're making melodies, play first simple and then start to get more complex. bit shorter. Let's roll into this like a hyper roll. So let's just maybe bring this in like. And I want to play around with making this, instead of always, Legato Triller. So that what that will do is that notes that are on it, we can use the time and go up or down, similar to the slide function built into FL. But of course, the slide only works with FL native plugins like 3X Oscillator, Harmer, Harmless, things like that. Now notice we did turn off fast LP at the top, but it's okay. You know, this is part of the creative process, and I'm showing you guys in real time without anything cut so that you can get an idea, you know, like it's a no cap. That way you guys can actually see. I'm thinking maybe I'll do a little bit of a pitch roll because I like that experiment. When I did this, it loses its tonality, but that, you know, rolling basses are so groovy. It's the reason why big room kicks work, because you don't just get you get it rolls off. This is cool, but it loses its tone. Let's listen again. So it could work. You know, playing with this is a very underrated tool, the Pogo. It's so underrated, guys. Like, play around with the Pogo. You know, not that Pogo stick. Don't be eating no fast food BS, you know what I'm saying? Stay healthy. Stay healthy. Eat that fruit, eat that veg, you know what I'm saying? Eat that healthy mind, healthy body, you know what I'm saying? Eat to live, don't live to eat. Let's see if this works. Let's do a little roll off. Now, I think I'm gonna have to do stretch. Hopefully it doesn't get effed up. We'll add sausage on there. Good old sausage. He's a good sausage, man. Look at him, guys. Like, it's a sausage fattener. How can you hate on sausage fattener? Okay, timeless. Timeless plugin. I didn't like the results with the second oscillator, so I'm gonna make a pitchy pluck for the beginning of each note by adding envelope 1 to this, pitching it up 12. You can try 24 also. This way I'm gonna make a snap, like a pluck. This is a way you can add more attack, like a spiky attack to your sound. And the more the decay, the more exaggerated it'll be. I'm thinking when it ends before the loop, before the bar loops, here I think I'm gonna make a triplet wob, like wop wop wop. And I'll show you guys how to make that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clone this and I'll leave everything the way they are just to make this sound quickly. But what I'll do, I'll change this to, I think it's the virtual analog sync. And we'll automate that with LFO. I'm gonna put it on its own send, channel 7. What I'll do is right click, file, save, and drag on number 7. So everything just copied over, but I'm gonna turn off the reverb and everything else can stay, it's okay. This is a little too harsh. Something about this is not right. I'm gonna turn this off. I think I know why. It's just way too much voice. So let's put this on 1. Or 2, yeah. The 16 is just too much for that type of sound. cool. This is actually sounding pretty good. I'm really happy with this, guys. Let me know what you guys think. If you made it this far, let me know what you guys think about this. We'll add a little bit more of one-shots. And then in the next video, we'll look at building around this, making the drop a little bit longer and leading into things like the break and whatnot. But I want to add some like stabs. I'm thinking like a stab in the beginning. It could be like a vocal stab, could be brass stab. Gonna have to pitch this down too, from F to E to D sharp. Another way you can clean this up, rather than putting a gate, forget the gate, slice, okay? And then just fade it out. And you can just let it pump right into the bass. That's fire, guys. This got me excited. I'm so happy we're making this one. Man, let's have a final listen of this. And I'm excited for the rest of this series. We got the kick. We had the first kick, but we turned it into like a bass thing. We were experimenting with fast LP. We experimented with other instances. We threw on a loop that has some pre-snare into it from Electro House 2. Shout out to that classic track, which also got the support of Respawn. Shout out to Respawn. And then we swapped out the spin-in hat for something from Kashmir for more of a sustained. Then we went, of course, into Massive and did like a 16 voice. I don't always do 16 voice, but hey, you gotta experiment. And it's so pungent and thick that adding more oscillators was just too much. And then, of course, finally we added the stab here, pitched it down to semi tones. And yeah, there's not a whole lot going on, guys. I mean, there's nothing on the kick. There's some content on the bass. That's just to make it like a little bit more obnoxious in your face and rolled off the high frequencies. Hat doesn't have anything except for just cleaning it up a little bit. So we'll revisit cleaning this up a little bit more, mastering it, mixing it. And here is the final result of where we're at so far for Electro House from scratch. Beautiful. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Looking forward to the rest of this series. Of course, making videos every day. Make sure you guys smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're alerted of the uploads, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.